Good morning, good people. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless, and we are back. Hope you're having a great, great start of the day, top of the morning, grand rising, and yeah, man, let's talk about it. So we already know your boy P Diddy has been out here, in the media trending as of yesterday. His sex trafficking case. Uh, Yeah, multiple, as the title says, multiple charges dropped in P Diddy trial. And man, I said from day one that I lost interest in covering that trial because it just reminded me so much of covering R. Kelly trial, and I just lost interest. You know, you talk about RICO and racketeering charges as it pertains to celebrities. Those charges are reserved for mafia, mob bosses. That's what they were created for, to target organized crime. How is a celebrity sex life on trial? I didn't want to hear about no more damn baby oil. I didn't want to hear nothing about the Punisher. I didn't want to hear about none of that. 50 Shades of Grey. I didn't want to hear about that man's sex life. So that pushed me away from the trial altogether. Now, we saw the tape. A lot of people felt like, oh, he deserved to go down because we saw the tape with Cassie getting beat on. And I don't agree with that. But that's not what he on trial for. That tape is something that she already been compensated for. She took $20 million years ago for that tape. Well, not that long ago, maybe like a year or two ago about that tape. So from my vantage point, if you take monetary compensation, what you doing in the courtroom talking? You know, so they just ran through this man's sex life, brought up multiple witnesses. I couldn't tell you all the details because I zoned out after I saw it was some nonsense because I felt like the man was overcharged. The charges didn't fit the allegations, and that's just how I felt about it. So I lost interest in it. But as of yesterday, yes, they dropped several. And I didn't even know he was charged. I know Kid Cudi and all that testified, but I hadn't been following so much. I didn't even know he was charged with the blowing up the Kid Cudi car. But yes, they dropped several key charges, including arson and kidnapping charges yesterday. That this was the prosecution's doing. Before they do their final statements, they wrote a letter to the judge to remove the arson and kidnapping charges. That wow, you know what I'm saying? That was like, man, that was monumental because that's huge to their case. So they couldn't tie him to the arson directly. And like, how do you kidnap? I thought they was gonna say that they was gonna try to use that tape, like when they was trying to say Cassie was trying to get on the elevator and he drug her back and all that. I thought, well, maybe they're gonna try to tie the kidnapping in with that. I didn't understand no damn kidnapping. So they dropped both them charges. That's huge. Those were huge headlines. But that's a win. That's a huge win, especially before the prosecution get their closing arguments. But they still had a sex trafficking and forced labor charges to secure racketeering. That's what they still pursuing, and that's what they telling the jury to focus on. Those are the two predicate acts: sex trafficking and forced labor. Those are the two predicate. See, with racketeering, they gotta have two predicate acts within in a certain time frame to secure racketeering. So, what is the sex trafficking part about, and what is the forced labor about? Now, if he was out here paying, they trying to allege that he was out here paying people to being these alleged freak offs, then that's not forced labor. That's prostitution. He ain't charged with that. So if it's something I don't know, like I said, I haven't been following it, but forced labor, that's crazy. Sex trafficking, uh, I don't. If you got grown adults that are willing participants in these alleged freak offs, how do you then, if you're gonna charge Diddy? See, this is the whole thing that was with R. Kelly. Because if you're gonna charge Diddy, sex trafficking it's not no one person orchestrating that. You know, you got to have multiple people involved to traffic other people. So this one man, here we go again with this one man criminal enterprise, right? So I'm not a fan of that, because what a lot of people don't understand is, yeah, they targeting these celebrities with this one man criminal enterprise, and that's what's scary. Yeah, we got to win with they dropping the arson and the kidnapping, but this racketeering is the same thing they got kills on. Remember in Chicago, they dropped multiple obstruction charges, what I'm saying, with him, Daryl McDavid, and June Brown. But in New York, they try to frown on everything, including this, sex trafficking. And they had the two predicate acts between Asri, Jane Doe number 5, excuse me, and Geronda Pace. So that secured the 10-year time frame. Within that 10-year time frame, that secured those two predicate acts. The same way they trying to line it up with Diddy. So it depending on who they saying he's sex trafficked and who else he did forced labor with. In Diddy case, that's how they gonna try to secure the two predicate acts to secure this racketeering. So he not all the way out the clear. The racketeering is the most dangerous charges, although they drop some serious charges off Diddy. Make no mistake, and that looks suspect. That looks suspect for the government. And I think that in New York, that's a huge win, because that's the most corrupt, from my vantage point. You know, that's where they manufacturing a lot of these RICO and racketeering charges. They trying to do this one man RICO. They gonna start targeting regular people if we continue to let this nonsense, go on. It's and if Kells had attorneys like Brian Steele and Diddy's team, see Diddy, he got the money to pay the top of the line. That's why I say, like, if Kells had that type of attorney, he would have had a whole bunch of charges dropped off in New York as well. He had majority really in Chicago dropped off. So you got P Diddy over here, and I'm rooting for him, because this ain't no racketeering, ain't no celebrities out here sex trafficking nobody, it ain't no forced labor. These people go out their way to get around somebody like P Diddy. Do any man, these groupies would do anything. These groupies would do anything to uh, get around these celebrities. Have you ever been to a concert? I've been to a concert with R. Kelly. I went when R. Kelly and Jay-Z had I'll tell y'all a funny story, man. When R. Kelly and Jay-Z had the best of both worlds back in the day, like I think this was like 2002. And I took a young lady to the concert with, you know, and man, I was way younger. This was probably about 20, for 22 years ago. Yeah, this was like 2002. 2001. No, this 2001, right before the charges hit with R. Kelly first trial. You know what I'm saying? So R. Kelly and Jay-Z, larger than life, the best of both worlds tour. And they came to Chicago. They came to where the Chicago Bulls played the United Center, sold out. And I took a young lady with me, you know, we was up in there chilling, man. And, you know, crowd is majority women. R. Kelly get on, they do different sets. R. Kelly do his set, Jay-Z do his set. They had their openers like Memphis Bleak, Benny Siegel, Kels had Boo and Gotti at the time, like opening up. So they warming it up. And then Jay-Z, I don't know, I think because it was Chicago, I think Jay-Z did his set first. And then R. Kelly came out, he was singing his hits, you know, and then they came out, at the R. Kelly did his, they took an intermission, and then they both hit the stage. They set it up raw. It was cold, to see two masters at work, with their crew. And then they came out and did they best of both world songs. This before all the drama hit. Everything was gravy between Jay and R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of towards the end, R. Kelly said, "Hey, any women, any ladies in here want to come with us? Rush to the stage right now." And I looked at this girl I came with, man. I done paid for your ticket. And she say, me, jumped out the seat. Every nigga in there was mad because air female that was there with their man wanted to run up to that stage because they know they was about to go kick it with. Come on, man. Celebrities, women are a magnet to these celebrities, man. They willing to leave their whole relationship just to kick it with a celebrity for a night. So you got to do a lot of proving to tell me it's some sex trafficking and some forced labor when I have seen in real time what these groupies will do to get in these celebrities' presence. Not all women, I'm just saying a certain type of woman that will travel with the band, sort of speak. Yeah. Come on, man. So if they could, these charges by definition are it's no way possible. First of all, somebody like P Diddy don't even have time to sex traffic you. The man too busy. You know, he ain't got to force you to do nothing. You don't want to do it. I got a whole arena full of women that's willing to do it. What's so special about me forcing you to do anything? The narrative is just off. It just doesn't make any sense. So we know what that's about, man. This was a humiliation ritual for P. Diddy. If he walks tomorrow, all of these celebrities that turned their back on P. Diddy, because Kanye West was the only one that came and spoke up for him. Kanye West went to go see about his kids. He went over there to his house and saw about his kids and helped them manage their money so they wouldn't run through it. He was the only one publicly. Now, I don't know. He probably got a lot of support privately. You know what I'm saying? But when these people come for you, these other celebrities get quiet. Everybody that was at the P. Diddy party, all the other celebrities, they fell back. And, hey, P. Diddy, you get out. You better take note who was not on your side, who threw you under the bus publicly. Now, the people that just kind of minded their business, all right, man, you could probably still rock with them. But the people that threw you under the bus, P. Diddy, you get out of there. Lead them where they at, man. Lead them where they at. I wouldn't fool with them at all. Because you know who really in your corner when you really going through. When you really going through something, you see who in your corner. And you see who are opportunists. So P Diddy, a lot of people threw you under the bus, bro. You know what I'm saying? That you thought you was cool with, and here's your confirmation of who you should be fooling with. Now, whether you like P Diddy as a person or not, whether you think he the scum of the earth because what he did to Cassie, and how he managed his business and how he treated other celebrities, I agree. I agree that he done a lot of wrong, and a lot of this may have been his karma. But what we can't do is sit here and let the judicial system be unjust just because we don't like somebody. And I'm just saying, I don't have no dislike for him. I'm not pro Diddy, anti Diddy. I'm straight down the middle with this. I think that he has done a lot of wrong to a lot of artists, possibly, mistreated women, all of that. But at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. This ain't no racketeering. This ain't no sex trafficking. This ain't no forced labor. He ain't got to do none of that. Because I'm telling you, I've seen with my own eyes, and if you've been to a concert of any of these, say what you say, P. Diddy is an icon. R. Kelly is an icon. They don't have to do none of that. This is reserved for people that actually out here, because how you gonna get rid of kidnapping of all charges and say it's forced labor or sex trafficking? Don't you got to kidnap somebody to have forced labor or the sex traffic them? You know why you don't got kidnapping? You know why you dropped kidnapping? Because it wasn't forced. Now you're going to tell the jury to spin a narrative, well, we could still use that as a predicate act because, he did still traffic them, even though he didn't, they was willing participants. So you going to tell me a willing participant is a victim at the same time? One reality cancels out the other. When you can't be a willing participant and a victim in the same damn breath. It don't work like that. It just don't work like that, man. But yeah, man, hey man, let's see how this works. Let's see how this works, man. Let's see how this works, man. But yeah, man, I just wanted to come briefly give my thoughts on this whole debacle with them dropping once again multiple charges in P Diddy trial, namely arson and kidnapping. They still got the sex trafficking and forced labor as predicate acts to try to secure the racketeering, which is the most dangerous charge. Remember that. Okay, y'all. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and blessings. We love y'all. Until next time, let's do something.